After I am no more in this world, O Anand, men of belief will visit with faithful curiosity and devotion the four places. The place where I was born, Lumbini. The place where I attained enlightenment, Bodh Gaya. The place where I gave my first sermon, Sarnath. And the place where I passed into Mahaparinirvana, Kushinagar. On the divine advice of Lord Buddha, Lumbini became a solemn pilgrimage site, and pilgrims started to pour to this place and other places related to his life and dharma in Nepal, the Gangetic Plains, and the Himalayas.
Nepal, the Himalayan country.
The home of multiracial groups living together with amicable relations, and the abode of multi-religious gods. This is a country for mankind of all creeds, with never a conflict in the name of any religion. Nestled in a small strip of land,
Situated between two giants, India in the south and China to the north, Nepal is an independent country.
in the tranquil southwestern plains of Nepal, nestling on the foothills of the Sivalik range, Siddhartha, the future Buddha, took his first steps. This is Lumbini, the holiest of sites for 600 million followers of Buddhism throughout the world. Lumbini is endowed with rich ancient religious, cultural and natural heritage. Many modern monasteries and stupas dedicated and donated by different devotees and organizations of many countries are also here. The full moon of the month of Baishakh, April-May, 623 years before the birth of Jesus Christ, was to become a unique day. A child was born. He was named Siddhartha, later to become the Buddha, the savior of mankind. Successive archaeological excavations have revealed several important religious monuments and cultural sites which bestow valuable insights into the birth and life of Lord Buddha. Lumbini has been acknowledged as a World Heritage Site, spectacular tourist destination and ultimate pilgrimage site for Buddhists around the world. In 250 BC, Emperor Ashoka made a pilgrimage to the site and offered 100,000 gold coins, spared the people of the burden of taxation, reset the nativity marker stone, and notified the world with a tangible record of a pillar inscription. The Ashoka pillar with its inscription is a landmark and unshakable evidence of Lumbini. The inscription emphasizes three main points. Here, Shakyamuni Buddha was born. Here, the Lord was born. Here, in the Lumbini village. Another evidence is the image of Maya Devi giving birth to Lord Buddha, the biggest icon of its kind ever found in the world. Vertically, 3 meters below the Maya Devi image is a marker stone, but by unknown devotees, reset by Emperor Ashoka and rediscovered by archaeologists. The spot where Lord Buddha trod for the first time in the world is now protected with bulletproof glass. Feeling a drastic need for peace in the world and realizing the importance of Lumbini for world peace, then United Nations Secretary General U Thant envisaged a master plan for the development of Lumbini. And Khenjo Tange formulated the same, which made it possible for Lumbini to be developed in a planned manner. The Lumbini International Research Institute, LIRI, is a haven for scholars of Buddhism and Lumbini. The Lumbini Museum is a place for scholars, students and the general public. Buddhist antiques from ancient Lumbini and Nepal are on display here. Place for the Vipassana way of meditation in Panditaram and Dhamma Janani. The method of concentrating mind and body in a truly Buddhist way and as practiced by Lord Buddha himself is taught here. Lumbini is not the only place the pilgrim should not miss. The highlight of the Buddhist sites in Nepal provides special glimpses of the life of Buddha and sites related to him and valuable insights into some of the places connected with Nepalese Buddhism. They are Lumbini and its surrounding, Kathmandu Valley, Namo Buddha, Thangboche Monastery, Mount Everest, and the Kali Gandaki Valley of Mustang region. Here in Lumbini, there are many archaeological sites related to Lord Buddha onwards to the west and east. Kudan is the place where the Buddha's father welcomed him when he first visited Kapilvastu after his enlightenment, on the invitation of his father. Gotihawa, 7 kilometers south of Tilaurakot. The Gotihawa pillar has no inscription now, but still stands since 2,300 years. Huan Sang, the Chinese traveler, noted it has an inscription which described the life of Krakuchanda Buddha. Tilaurakot. Siddhartha spent his first 29 years of life in Kapilvastu. He was married when he was 16 and was blessed with his only son Rahul
before he renounced the material world.
But the place turned into an archaeological mound and remained so for almost 2,000 years. It is known at present as Tilaurakot. Surrounded by a 4-meter thick wall, Tilaurakot is the only fortified mound between Sravasti and Lumbini. The eastern gate complex of Tilaurakot,
from where Prince Siddhartha is believed to have renounced the material world.
He attained nirvana after 6 years. Niglihawa. The second pillar is dedicated to Kanak Muni, another mortal Buddha before Shakyamuni. He was also a mortal Buddha who lived before Gautama Buddha. The 4-line inscription on the pillar gives the details of the renovation of a stupa dedicated to Kanak Muni Buddha. The renovation was done by Emperor Ashoka. Araurakot. It is believed to be the natal town of Kanak Muni Buddha, now a big mound with thick walls and bastions. Sagarhawa. The place where the Shakyas from Kapilvastu were massacred by King Bidudhaka. This is the first excavated archaeological site in Nepal. Devadaha. The natal town of both Mayadevi the mother and Yasodhara the wife of Siddhartha Gautama. Chinese travelers went to the east of Kapilvastu and Lumbini, then arrived in Ramgram. The stupa, as described by Chinese pilgrims, contains one of the 8 parts of Lord Buddha's relics. Gautama Buddha attained Mahaparinirvana in Kushinagara at the age of 80. He has been cremated there, and the Koliyas of Ramgram received 1 part of his relics. The Koliyas came back and built the stupa containing the share of relics. Pilgrims travelling to Lumbini can take a flight from Kathmandu to Bhairahawa and then travel by road to Lumbini. Pilgrims coming from India can cross the border in Sunauli, then Belia to Bhairahawa by bus or taxi and continue on to Lumbini by road. Budget lodging is available, which are clean and comfortable. Star category hotels are also available to suit one's needs at reasonably good price with all services on request. These hotels can arrange sightseeing and other tours for the tourist. Buddhism was not confined to the Gangetic Plains alone. It climbed up to hills, valleys, mountains, and even to trans-Himalayan region of the Tibetan plateau. The religion had crossed the hills during the lifetime of Gautama Buddha. Mula Sravastivad Vinay Sutra talks about the monks returning from the Himalayan region with swollen toes and cracked feet. When this came to his notice, Lord Buddha immediately permitted the monks to put on their shoes when going on to the Himalayas. The place was no other than the Kathmandu Valley, then the cradle of the oldest civilization in the Himalayas. There are 4 Ashokan stupas believed to be built by Emperor Ashoka during his legendary visit to the valley. These are located at the four corners of Patan city. Yampi Stupa to the north, Lagan Stupa to the south, Pucho Stupa to the west, and Teta Stupa to the east. Kathmandu Valley is the only place where both Hindus and Buddhists have coexisted since time immemorial. Hindu deities and Buddhist gods are worshipped side by side. A unique blend of religious tolerance, an example of coexistence between two religions. Swayambhu Chaitya. Swayambhu, the oldest stupa in Kathmandu Valley, is also the holiest and sacred pilgrimage site for all Mahayana Buddhist followers from as far as Mongolia, Tibet, Sikkim, Bhutan and China. The people pay equal devotion to this site. Mahayana, the product of compassionate bodhisattvas, can really be studied around the hilltop of Swayambhu, full of Buddhist shrines, full of compassionate figure of bodhisattvas, full of icons and chaityas, the all-seeing eyes of the Buddha looking at all four directions of the earth, watching the suffering beings and beckoning them to salvation. Swayambhu is really an abode of the bodhisattvas, who even rejected their own salvation and decided to remain in the world to lead all remaining suffering beings to nirvana, the great final deliverance. Aksheshwar Mahavihar was established as a center of learning probably during the 7th century AD. The present complex was constructed recently and is being developed as a center for studies in Buddhism. This is located at the highest elevation in Patan and has a replica of the Swayambhu Stupa. From this vantage point, one can get a beautiful view of Kathmandu Valley. Vajrayogini. The oldest Buddhist monastery in Kathmandu Valley, called by local people as Gumvihar, was already famous before Christ, also attested by the inscriptional evidence. Presently called Vajrayogini, predominated by yogi cult since the 9th and 10th century. This was the central stupa of Gumvihar, now under a temple canopy with a different name of Yogamvar. The oldest tradition of ringing wooden bell to beckon the monks to the monastery is still continued to this present day. Bodha Stupa. Bodha, another grandeur of majestic stupa architecture. The biggest stupa in Nepal is raised on top of a mandala base and embellished with 108 deities and surrounded by a wall with prayer wheels with Om Mane Padme Hum. Bodha, a great haven for Tibetan lamas, a place for melodious sound of metal horns and cymbals, a shrine for offering million butter lamps, and a venue for all religious things to happen at all times. Dhando Chaitya. Recently renovated, the Chaitya is the oldest archaeological discovery in the Kathmandu Valley. This stupa is locally called Chavel Stupa and is surrounded by Lichavi Chaityas. Vikramasila Mahavihar. The Mahavihar is regarded as the most honored vihars of Kathmandu city, an abode for Tibetan Siddha Lamas while passing through Nepal on the way to Vikramasila Mahavihar of India and their return to Tibet. The Vihar was very famous for its collection of a Pragya Paramita manuscript written on gold and golden image of Pragya Paramita as well. Only having a glance on them would ensure rebirth in the heavenly abode. Nagi Gumba. The disciplined and devoted nunnery of Nagi Gumpa singles out in the Kathmandu Valley. Belonging to the Nyingmapa sect of Lamaism, it was founded in 1940 AD by Sonam Tenjing. The monastery is located on the Shivapuri hill, looking down the Kathmandu Valley. The nuns are encouraged to practice in training of mind and to understand karma, suffering and impermanence. Kopan Gumba, newly established group of Gumbas with the most modern way of learning, where the Gelugpa sect of the Lamas pray in the most Buddhist way. Enthusiasts from all over the world can come here and learn Tibetan Buddhism. Hiranyavarna Mahavihar. The golden temple of Patan is called Kwabaha. The monastery was erected during the historic period of 10th or 11th century. This is the richest Buddhist temple in Patan with maximum number of officiating Buddhist monks and its golden decorations. Mahabodha Temple, the most decorated Bodha temple of Kathmandu Valley, erected by Bhairaj and his family in the 17th century. Each brick of the temple is carved with an image of Buddha, which was copied from Bodh Gaya temple in India. Rudravarna Mahavihar, one of the oldest vihar of Patan. The historical document of 10th century records the vihara to have been established by Shivadeva, the Lichavi king. The vihara abounds in old collections of wooden struts. The locals call it Ukubaha. Ratnakar Mahavihar. Ratnakar Mahavihar was located previously in the royal palace of Patan. King Siddhinarsingh Malla shifted this to the present site for extending his palace building in the 17th century. Despite their busy life, the local people had time to sit and sing together devotional songs dedicated to divine beings. Namo Buddha. About 20 kilometers east of the Kathmandu Valley is Namo Buddha, a well-known Buddhist site. Newars call it Nomura and the Tamangs call it Tamaluiche, an important site of the compassionate Bodhisattva Prince Mahasattva. A stone relief carved with Prince Mahasattva exhibiting his compassionate deed of cutting himself and feeding the starving tigress and her cubs. Buddhism did not remain in the south alone. It climbed up to the Himalayan villages as well. Lukla, the gateway of the world's highest peak, Mount Everest. A 45-minute flight from the capital Kathmandu brings a visitor to the scenic Stole airstrip at Lukla. Lukla is also the starting point of one of the most popular and picturesque trekking routes in the Himalayan highlands. A 2-day trek from Lukla brings a visitor to Namchi Bazaar, the center of trade and social contact for the Sherpas in the Khumbu region. The weekly market on Saturday provides an opportunity for tourists to mingle with the local communities and observe their unique lifestyle. The Khumbu region is also a haven for the elusive dafe, the national bird of Nepal, mountain goat and musk deer. The landscape and the climate provide an ideal habitat for many species of rare birds and animals. Situated on the lap of Mount Everest, Thangboche Gompa is the most sacred monastery for the Sherpa people. Sherpas offer worship at the Gompa and seek the blessings of the gods for a good harvest and fortune. Mountaineers and trekkers who come to climb in the Khumbu region also offer worship for safety and success. Life in the Khumbu region is marked by many colorful festivals and social functions. Often, a visitor finds himself in the midst of a festive occasion such as this Mani Rindu dance performed during the Mani Rindu festival. The faith did not freeze in the mountains only. It also melted and spread out to the trans-Himalayan valleys and plains. Jomsom, the gateway to Mustang, where one can fly or trek from Pokhara. Once in Jomsom, you feel welcomed, and it provides world-class tourist services in food and accommodation. Kali Gandaki, the Trans-Himalayan Valley or Mustang, is a melting pot for Hindu, Buddhist and Bonpos. Although barren in natural vegetation, the area is filled with monasteries, stupas and prayer wheels. 2-hour trek from Jomsom is Kagbeni, an important junction in the north-south trade route between India and Tibet, and the east-west caravan route between Manang and the Dolpo region, politically controlling all 4 directions and economically levying all business caravans. Kagbeni is an important confluence of Kali Gandaki coming from the north and river Jong flowing down from Muktinath. Here, Hindus pay their respect to their ancestors and perform the Shraddha to honor them. Another 4 hours from Kagbeni brings you to the beautiful valley of Chuksang village, the boundary of Lower Mustang. Pass through the dark and narrow streets of the village. See the religious paintings inside the Gomba walls. Feel the enchanting Kali Gandaki river flowing underground through the steep cliff of geological deposit. Visit a row of religious caves. People believe it is the storehouse of religious books. Unapproachable now due to its height on the cliff, more than 100 meters above the street. Throughout the trails one can see the caves in the natural walls, which were used as a place of retreat, a place for meditation, a place for storing the religious manuscript, a place for symmetry, a place for storage and even a place for an animal den. Hike for one more day via Tetang's beautiful stupa complexes, and that brings you to one of the most sacred temple for Hindus, Muktinath. Jhomo, the Buddhist nuns, worship inside. Brahman, the Hindu priest, bless pilgrims outside. This is Muktinath temple, holiest among the 4 pilgrimage sites for Hindus around the world, the other 3 being Jagannath, Badrinath and Kedarnath in India. Visitors in Nepal are welcomed with traditional Buddhist hospitality amidst festive gathering and festivals. The most important is the birth anniversary of Buddha. The day is celebrated with music, pomp and show. Here in monasteries, here in temples, here in the capital, here in Lumbini, here in all and here everywhere. Therefore, you are all welcome to the land where Buddha was born, the land of the fountain of peace, here in Lumbini, here in Nepal. Samma Sambuddhassa